This is the Solana forecast for March 2025 and based on astrology. Welcome back to the Crypto Astro channel. If we get this video to 200 likes, I'll make an Ethereum and Sui update video. All right, so smash that like button. Please support this channel. None of this content is financial investment advice. This content is intended for educational purposes only. So we've been on a downtrend here, obviously, with Solana. Man, that's just getting smashed. After being arguably the strongest crypto in this bull run the last couple years, it's just getting smashed. Let me know in the comments what your theories are about this. I mean, yeah, of course, there's the narratives of the meme coins, way too many meme coins. Maybe that's true. But also, I mean, also Ethereum's been doing very poorly as well. And the top dog Bitcoin has been falling off a little bit, but not nearly as much as those. So we're at 143. Take a look at this. If you follow this global liquidity line here, this yellow line, if we line it up to Solana, it lines up pretty closely. It did get a correction, kind of an early correction here before. And then we got, of course, we got the pump Trump, which was kind of a sell the news event. Yeah, maximum volatility there, super crazy. Also, we have this 21 SMA line, simple moving average. You know, we were bouncing above that, you know, in January, things were looking fine. And then once it broke down through that, then things are not looking so good. But the glimmer of hope here is that if you look at this yellow line, it does end up going up again. So if Solana continues, I mean, it's clearly it's not exactly following this yellow line, but it's fairly close, you know. You know, when it starts an uptrend, then Solana went on a massive run. When it goes down, then it has an overall downtrend. It's pretty clear here. So things are looking a little slow for the next couple weeks, about 3 weeks. But after that, things are looking a little bit better. All right. If we look at, let's dive into the weekly scale here. And we zoom in. So the weekly close, we had a lot of buying action last week and decent volume. It's a little glimmer of hope is, you know, we sold all the way down here, but we got bought all the way back up to 167 and we got pretty good volume. Volume was on a downtrend ever since the Trump pump here, understandably. But last week we got decent volume there. And if we go to the stochastic RSI, we are bottoming out pretty closely. Well, actually, we didn't get all the way to 0, but we got pretty close. It is getting a stochastic cross up, but we have to wait for confirmation as it could be a fake out. And so far, it's not going up very much. If we go to the monthly scale, the monthly close was terrible last month. We sold all the way down to 148. And the stochastic RSI was going down. We still haven't gotten a cross up there on the monthly. And on the 2 months chart, we got this candle that's pretty close to a shooting star where it went all the way up to 265, then sold all the way back down to 189. And then the next candle, we got the Trump pump and the all-time high. But then it sold all the way down here and it closed at 147. Yeah, so clearly we're in a fairly bearish price action here. The 2 month stochastic RSI is on a downtrend. Okay, and we can also look at the Solana versus Bitcoin. And this is interesting. This looks kind of similar to another chart. Anybody have any ideas? Well, let's take a look at this. And let's look at, on the top is the Solana versus Bitcoin. You see that little yellow arrow. On the bottom here, down here, is Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Are we in a similar place to that arrow? Very interesting. Yeah, we certainly could be. That's interesting because we are dipping below a critical level we have in the past couple weeks here. Dipping a lot lower than I think anyone anticipated. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got a rebound from here, but just like we see Ethereum below there, it may not surpass. It may not make a new all-time high versus Bitcoin. So once again, this is Solana versus Bitcoin, Ethereum versus Bitcoin. But there could be another rally in the works. It's certainly possible. But yeah, it may not be as high as people think versus Bitcoin. So I thought that was very, very interesting. But I mean, the fact that, if we make a 50% line from this peak here down to the bottom, I can even close this yellow line here, clean that up. We take a 50% level from the peak to the bottom. We have dropped below the 50% level, which is a weak position. So if you weren't aware of it already, it's looking a bit weak for Solana here. We're also going to dive into the astrology in a moment here to give you an edge. But let's take a look at what I was saying, warning that I gave y'all a couple months ago, where I was warning about some pretty major token unlocks that we're having on March 1st. And here is the video that I made, I guess approximately 1 month ago. And here's the warning. So let me make sure the sound is good. This could be a double top here, and we might just head down for a while and have to build out another base potentially, or maybe we'll come retest the kind of the lower 120s or something again before we head back up. Your guess is as good as mine, honestly. All right, so I mentioned it could come down to the lower 120s. And let's take a look at what Solana did. So we go to here, and this was last month. And we did, wait, let's go back to the Solana chart. We did get down to 125 there. Oh, so we did get into the 120s. Oh, man. And we haven't gotten a clear recovery out of here yet. All right. So I did send that warning out. But, man, yeah, Solana is in quite a weak position. Solana versus USD, it is sitting on this macro 50% level from, well, actually, let me redo that, as it hasn't been. Let's update this to the current peak right here, and then to the bottom of the bear market. And yeah, Solana is actually below that 50% level. So yeah, it's in that weak position. All right, so let's look at the daily exchange volume. It's been on a downtrend ever since November last year. We're trying to head back up. Not too bad. Once we get the next low, we need to check if we're going to get a higher low or a lower low. That's going to be critical. The only problem is this could potentially be another lower high, which would actually be more bearish divergence. So we need to see this break up even more in the next couple weeks here, or if that prints another lower high, that's not good. All right, I just got to point that out there. Now, I believe it's time. I also want to mention the token unlocks. So there was, as I was mentioning in this previous video a month ago, the token unlocks were about around 11.2 million Solana tokens unlocked on March 1st, which is 2.3% of the total circulating supply. And so far, it's looking that's been really affecting the price action. It's been going down a lot. Some people were not believing it, but yeah, I mean, Solana has not done so well since that video. We did have, I mean, compared to the largest token unlocks in Solana's history, is way back here in January 2021, all the way. It was actually all the way back here when Solana was very low. It was around only like $4. Boy, was that a great buy opportunity. So there is still, yeah, perhaps massive token unlocks can be good buying opportunities too. But looking ahead, heading into April and May, April is planned to have only 12,000 Solana tokens unlocked compared to 11,000 in March. Oh, sorry, no. 12,000 Solana tokens compared to 11 million Solana token unlocks in March. So way less than March. And then May, only 73,000 compared to 11.2 million in March. All right, so much less. So that could bring, just basic economics, it could bring more price stability and more price appreciation in the best case scenario. Once we get out of March here. We look at the Bitcoin dominance, still holding up super strong. So this is why we're not getting an altcoin run so far. We did get a little one back, when the dominance fell here in November, December. Ever since then, we've been on an uptrend, unfortunately for us bulls. And I could also do a bonus. Well, actually, no. Let's dive into the astrology. We got to dive into that. So we do have a total lunar eclipse coming up here. This is quite concerning. But the good news is Solana might have already gotten the majority of its dump. So we could have more upside from here, especially compared to that global liquidity yellow line that we had up earlier. But typically we get a dump heading into total lunar eclipses. If we look at Ethereum, which is very similar to Solana, we look at what happened to Ethereum. Solana wasn't even alive back then. But if we look at 2017 and we look at 2021, take a look at these blue lines. This is when we had total lunar eclipses back then. The astrology lovers will love this. Ethereum fell off a cliff. It tried to recover, and then it actually did dump. It did dump after that, before and after that total lunar eclipse in 2017. And then let's take a look at what happened in 2021. In the next bull run, we had a massive spike, kind of similar to Solana recently, the Trump pump, and then it fell off super aggressively. And then it did get a rebound heading into that total lunar eclipse, but then it fell off again. So it was only 3 days before it pumped into that total lunar eclipse, and then price kind of stabilized before falling off again. So if Solana does something like that, it could get a little bit of a rebound, but I mean, nothing to get too excited about. I mean, it could be a good trade. Ethereum got a 66% pump from the very bottom, but it's almost impossible to time the very bottom. If it's more, if we bought in around there, not getting the exact bottom, it's, more like 37% pump. Not too bad for a trade. But yeah, if we get something like that, we could be getting a little, perhaps it could do something like this. We get a pump and then it stabilizes for a little bit. Certainly possible. But yeah, definitely concerned with this total lunar eclipse. Good news is Solana's probably dumped the majority of the way down. The majority of the pain might be over, mostly over. We'll see. But let's take a look at the specific Solana astrology. This is the Solana chart. I have two of them. It's difficult to know the exact, the correct day and time to use for the astrology chart. But we have April 9, 2020, 9:30 p.m. San Diego. And then I also have another one that we could look at. But this one has been, in my opinion, a little bit more accurate than the other one, as it did call the February dump. So if we go to February, in February we had this negative Neptune conjunct the Solana Mercury, which can bring a lot of confusion to the markets, as Neptune can bring confusion and Mercury is trading, planet of trading. That was a negative. And then we also had this super negative Saturn conjunct Neptune, bringing a contraction and confusion at the same time around February 20th. These both, for the astrology believers, led to some very negative price action February heading into March. All right, so that was on point. The good news is heading into April 5th. Well, this is activated on March 11th. It's in orb, and then it goes direct hit on April 5th, and then April 24th it leaves orb. This is quite bullish. Uranus trining the Solana Pluto. Uranus, the planet of technology. Pluto, the planet of could be the planet of wealth and power. And then this is super bullish, heading to April 15th, starting at the end of March. Uranus trining the Solana Jupiter. That's looking really good. And then this is looking really great. Saturn sextile the Solana Pluto. Saturn sextile the Solana Jupiter. Volatility with Mars there and these two transits. Venus sextile the Solana Jupiter in April 7th and April 19th. Very good. Even this is good. Neptune sextile the Solana Saturn. Venus sextile the Solana Pluto. So, things are looking better and better after March. So that brings some hope to us Solana lovers. And then let's look at the other Solana chart, March 16th, 2020. We look at this. Let's double check February to see how accurate it predicted. Yeah, we did have these negatives with Saturn conjunct Neptune on this chart too in February, which arguably correctly predicted, dumping in February heading into March. So that did turn out to be true. And then Neptune squared the Solana moon on March 2nd when Solana was, the price was going down as well. So this is in pretty close confluence to the other Solana chart. This is getting a couple positives on March 19th as well as March 28th. That's looking good. Saturn sextile the Solana Jupiter on March 13th. So this is much more positive astrology in March compared to the other one. More volatility on the 27th. Saturn sextile the Solana Pluto on April 2nd. So similarly to the other chart, pretty positive heading into April. But then there is a Saturn conjunct the Solana Sun, which is could be quite negative on April 18th. And then Jupiter squaring the Solana Neptune on the 17th of next month. But then at the same time, we get this very positive Uranus sextile the Solana Sun. So it could be continued volatility. The other Solana chart was much more bullish April. This Solana chart is a little bit more bullish in March. So interesting. Perhaps March could be, perhaps the second half of March, or perhaps soon in the next week, things could start looking more bullish. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. The inner chart here is the Solana chart, arguably when the first Genesis block was. And then the outer chart here is where the planets are in the sky right now. Okay, so I think that's the majority of it. Let's see what questions we have if they're for the people jumping on live. I'm surprised XRP is holding. Do you think XRP will dump by the lunar eclipse? It's tough to say, but yeah, XRP is holding up super strong, arguably stronger than just about any coin, perhaps besides Bitcoin, but it's holding up arguably just as strong as Bitcoin. So yeah, I mean, that's more for an XRP video, but I will consider, yeah, I'll probably going to buy back in XRP. Probably wait till, I think around March 15th. That's just from my TA and astrology, that could be a good time. So I'm waiting another week or so. I'm waiting to see what's going to happen on the total lunar eclipse. If we are going to get a dump, if not, I'm happy to buy in at slightly higher prices and miss out on maybe 10% gains. Do you think there will be another altcoin rally? I think there will be. It's tough to say when. Everyone who's tried to predict it has been wrong for the most part. First, tell what is your position in the market? Well, I'm about 40-50% cash. Are you still out of the market and sitting on the losses? No, I'm not sitting on losses. This Ajay Singh keeps accusing me of that I'm sitting on losses. No, I've been invested for the last 7 years in crypto, so I'm absolutely not sitting on losses. I took profits because heading into this total lunar eclipse, for me personally, I thought there was a lot of caution here, and we could get a massive dump. We already have with Solana. So I just felt like there's too much risk this month. Just crazy astrology, crazy volatility, which we are getting. We're getting crazy volatility, and my wife's baby is due. Our baby is going to be born potentially this month, so I didn't want to have too much stress heading into that. That's just me, you know. I'm a totally different person. You're your own individual. Not everyone should. No one should follow exactly what I'm doing. You know, I have my own unique life situation and scenario. You think 15th of March is a good time to invest between eclipses? That's what I'm thinking, but we'll have to see what happens then. I'll be keeping my eyes on the charts, be keeping my eyes on the Bitcoin dominance. Of course, if that starts to show some real weakness, if it starts to fall below 60%, I'd be feeling a lot more optimistic about altcoins. But even with that, we'd still have to wait for a confirmation and see if it's a fake out or if it's going down. And then also the daily exchange volume. If we get a higher low and we start shooting up again, that will be another bullish indicator, which I would feel more comfortable buying back in. But I do still have like 50% in the market, you know, with XRP. Bought a little bit more Solana recently in case we get a rebound here. And I have, you know, a bunch of little altcoins as well that are just like sitting around waiting for the altcoin run. Hopefully we get that. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.